Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something very important. We will talk about how to speak English fluently and confidently. Many people want to speak English. They study grammar, they learn new words, they read books and watch videos. But when it is time to speak, they become quiet. They know some English, but they feel afraid to use it. Maybe this happens to you too. You want to speak, but you are scared of making mistakes. You worry that people will laugh at you. You think your English is not good enough. So today, I want to tell you something important. You do not need perfect English to start speaking. You only need to start. Speaking English fluently does not mean speaking very fast. It does not mean knowing every word. It does not mean making no mistakes. Speaking fluently means being able to share your ideas. It means using the English you know without stopping all the time. Confidence means trusting yourself. You can still feel nervous, but you continue speaking. You can make mistakes, but you do not stop trying. This is how real confidence grows. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Adam. Adam wanted to speak English very much. He studied English for many years. He knew many grammar rules. He could understand simple English books. He watched English videos every day. But Adam had one big problem. He was afraid to speak. One day, Adam met a tourist in his town. The tourist asked him a simple question. He asked, "Excuse me, where is the bus station?" Adam knew the answer. He understood the question. He knew the words. But suddenly, he became nervous. His mind became empty. He wanted to say, "Go straight and turn left," but he said nothing. After the tourist left, Adam felt sad. He said to himself, "Why could I not speak? I knew the answer." That day, Adam understood something important. His biggest problem was not English. His biggest problem was fear. Maybe you feel the same way. You know some words, but you do not use them. You know how to make simple sentences, but you wait for the perfect sentence. You listen to English, but you are afraid to open your mouth. If this is your problem, you are not alone. Many English learners feel this way. The good news is that fear can become smaller. You can learn to speak even when you feel nervous. Adam decided to change. The next morning, he stood in front of a mirror. He looked at himself and said, "Hello, my name is Adam. I am learning English." It was only a simple sentence, but it was a beginning. Then he talked about his day. He said, "Today I woke up early. I ate breakfast. I am going to work." He made some mistakes. He stopped sometimes. But he continued. The next day, he did it again. Then he practiced again the next day. Slowly, speaking became easier. Adam started using more words. He started making longer sentences. Most importantly, he stopped being so afraid of his own voice. This is a good first step for you too. Speak to yourself. You do not need a partner in the beginning. You do not need a classroom. You do not need perfect grammar. Look around you and describe what you see. You can say, "This is my room. The room is small. There is a table near the window. My phone is on the table. Today, the weather is warm." These are simple sentences, but they are English. When you speak simple English every day, your mouth becomes more comfortable. Do not wait until you know 1,000 words. Do not wait until you finish every grammar lesson. Do not wait until you feel completely ready. You may never feel completely ready. Confidence often comes after action, not before action. First, you speak. Then, you make mistakes. Then, you learn. Then, you speak again. Slowly, you become more confident. Another important thing is to use simple English. Many learners make speaking difficult because they want to sound very advanced. They want to use big words. They want to make long sentences. But simple English is powerful. For example, you may want to say something very difficult about being tired. But you can simply say, I am tired. I worked a lot today. Now, I need some rest. This is clear. It is easy to understand. Good communication is not about showing people how many difficult words. You know. It is about sharing your message clearly. Start with sentences you can use in your daily life. Learn how to talk about yourself. Say, my name is. I am from. I like. I work as. I want to learn English because. Practice these sentences again and again, then talk about your family. You can say, I have a small family. I live with my parents. My brother is very funny. My sister likes music. Talk about your work. Talk about your studies. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about what you did yesterday. When English becomes part of your daily life, speaking starts to feel more natural. You do not need to create a difficult situation. Use the life you already have as your practice material. Another great way to build confidence is to repeat sentences. Repetition is very important. When you hear a useful sentence, do not listen only one time. Listen again. Then say it. Say it many times. For example, listen to this sentence. I would like a cup of coffee. Repeat it slowly. I would like a cup of coffee. Say it again. Then say it without looking. After some practice, the sentence will feel easier. Then change one word. Say, I would like a cup of tea. Then, I would like some water. This helps you learn how to use English naturally. But you are not only memorizing one sentence, you are learning a pattern. Adam started doing this every day. He listened to short English conversations and repeated them. At first, he repeated very slowly. Sometimes he could not pronounce the words well, but he did not stop. He listened carefully. He repeated the sounds. Day by day, his pronunciation became better. You can also read English aloud. Choose something simple. It can be a short story, a small article, or even a few sentences from an English lesson. Read slowly. Do not worry if you do not sound perfect. The goal is to move your mouth and practice speaking. When you read aloud, you connect your eyes, your brain, and your mouth. You see the words. Therefore, you understand the meaning. Then you say the words. This is very useful for building speaking confidence. Also, remember that mistakes are normal. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. Children make mistakes when they learn to speak. Adults make mistakes too. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. So why should you be afraid of mistakes? A mistake is not a sign that you are failing. A mistake is a sign that you are trying. If you never speak, You may make fewer speaking mistakes, but you will not improve your speaking. When you speak, you discover what you need to learn. Imagine that you say, "Yesterday I go to the market." Someone may correct you and say, "Yesterday I went to the market." Now, you have learned something. The next time, you may remember it better. That mistake became a lesson. Do not say, "My English is bad because I make mistakes." Instead, say, "I am learning, and mistakes help me improve." Your thoughts are important. When you speak to yourself in a negative way, you become more afraid. But when you encourage yourself, you become stronger. Try saying these sentences to yourself. "It is okay to make mistakes. I can learn from them. I do not need perfect English. I only need to keep practicing. Every day I am getting better." These simple words can change the way you feel. Another problem is comparing yourself with other people. You may hear someone speaking English very well and think, "I can never speak like that." But you do not know their journey. Maybe they have practiced for many years. Maybe they have used English every day. Maybe they also felt afraid in the beginning. Do not compare your beginning to someone else's progress. Focus on yourself. Yesterday, maybe you could say only one sentence. Today, maybe you can say 3 sentences. That is progress. Adam also made the mistake of comparing himself with other learners. One of his friends spoke English very well. Adam felt bad about himself. Then his friend told him, "I was just like you 5 years ago. I was afraid to speak too." This surprised Adam. He understood that good speakers also started somewhere. Nobody begins as a fluent speaker. People become fluent through practice, patience, and time. One day, Adam decided to challenge himself. He went to a small shop and spoke English with a visitor. He was nervous, but he said, "Hello, can I help you?" The visitor smiled and answered. They had a short conversation. After the visitor left, Adam felt very happy. The conversation was not perfect. He made some mistakes. He forgot a few words. But he had spoken English with a real person. That small moment gave him confidence. Then he started looking for more chances to speak. He joined online English conversations. He talked to other learners. He practiced with friends. Some days were easy. Some days were difficult. But he kept going. This is the secret. Do not wait for a big chance. Use small chances. Say hello in English. Ask a simple question. Answer in English. Introduce yourself. Talk about your day. Speak to yourself. Read aloud. Repeat sentences. Use the English you already know. You do not need to speak for 1 hour. Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes today can become 10 minutes tomorrow. 10 minutes can become 20 minutes. Small practice grows over time. Another useful habit is to record your voice. At first, this may feel strange. You may not like hearing yourself. Many people feel this way. But recording yourself can help you improve. Choose a simple topic. Talk for 1 or 2 minutes. You can talk about your morning, your family, your job, or your favorite food. Then listen to your recording. Do not listen only to find mistakes. Also, listen for the things you did well. Maybe you used a new word. Maybe your pronunciation was clear. Maybe you spoke for 2 minutes without stopping. Celebrate these small successes. Then record yourself again after a few weeks. You may hear a big difference. Your sentences may become easier. Your voice may sound more natural. You may pause less. This is proof that practice works. Remember, confidence is like a small plant. You cannot make it grow in one day. You must give it time. You must practice. You must continue, even when you feel nervous. At first, your confidence may be very small. That is okay. Speak one sentence. Then speak another sentence. Every time you speak, your confidence grows a little. You do not have to be fearless to speak English. You can feel afraid and still speak. You can feel nervous and still try. One day, you may look back and realize that the fear has become smaller. So start today. Look in the mirror and say something in English. Describe your room. Talk about your day. Read a short paragraph aloud. Repeat 5 useful sentences. Record your voice. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. You can talk in English. You can improve. You can become more fluent, and you can become more confident. It all starts with one simple thing. Open your mouth and speak. Chapter 2. Stop translating and start thinking in English. Many English learners think in their own language first. Then they try to translate the words into English. After that, they check the grammar. Then they try to remember the correct pronunciation. This takes a lot of time. When someone asks them a simple question, their brain becomes very busy. They know what they want to say, but the words do not come quickly. They are not only speaking, they are translating, checking, and worrying at the same time. This is one reason why speaking can feel slow and difficult. Let me tell you another story about Adam. Adam had started speaking English every day. He was becoming less afraid. He could introduce himself and talk about simple things. But he still had one problem. When people spoke to him quickly, he could not answer fast. One day, a friend asked him, "What are you doing this weekend?" Adam understood the question, but inside his mind, he started translating. First, he thought about the question in his own language, thinking about his answer. He wanted to say that he was going to visit his family and have dinner with them. But he tried to build a perfect sentence in his mind. His friend waited. Adam felt nervous. Then he said, family, visit, dinner. His friend understood him, but Adam felt unhappy. He thought, why can I not speak more naturally? The answer was simple. Adam was trying to translate everything. So he decided to try something different. At first, thinking in English felt very difficult. When he woke up, he looked around his room and tried to name things in English. He thought, this is my bed, this is my window, my phone is on the table. I need to get up. The sentences were very simple. But Adam was using English inside his mind. You can do the same thing. When you wake up in the morning, do not immediately start thinking about difficult sentences. Start with what you see. Look at your room and think in English. Say in your mind, I am awake. It is morning. I feel tired. I need to wash my face. When you eat breakfast, think, I am hungry. This tea is hot. I like this food. When you leave your home, think, I am going outside. The weather is nice. There are many people on the street. You do not need difficult English. Simple English is enough. This is very important. Many learners think they cannot think in English because they do not know enough words. But you can think in English with the words you already know. You do not need a big vocabulary to begin. If you know the words happy, tired, food, home, and work, use them. Your English thoughts can be very small at first. You can think, I am happy. I am tired. I am at home. I want food. These small thoughts are the beginning of faster speaking. Adam started doing this every day. He thought in English while he walked. He looked at the sky and thought. The sky is blue. He saw a car and thought, that car is fast. He saw a dog and thought, the dog is running. Slowly, his brain started connecting things with English words. Before, Adam saw a dog and first thought of the word in his own language. Then he translated it into English. Now he started seeing the dog and thinking directly, dog. This may sound like a small change, but it is very powerful. The more you connect your life directly with English, the less you need to translate. Over time, English words begin to come to your mind more naturally. Another good way to stop translating is to learn phrases. Instead of learning only single words. For example, many people learn the word hungry, but then they have to think about how to use it. Instead, learn the complete phrase, I am hungry. Learn useful sentences like, I am tired. I am ready. I don't know. I think so. That sounds good. What do you mean? Can you help me? When you learn complete phrases, you can use them more quickly. Imagine someone asks you, are you ready? If you have learned the phrase, yes, I'm ready, your answer can come naturally. But if you only know separate words and try to build the sentence every time, speaking becomes slower. So try to collect useful phrases from your daily life. Adam bought a small notebook. Every day, he wrote down 5 useful English phrases. But he did not only write them, he repeated them and used them. One day, he learned, I'm on my way. Then he used it when he was going somewhere. He said, I'm on my way to work. Another day, he learned, give me a minute. He started using it when he needed time. Then he learned, I'm not sure. He used it when he did not know the answer. Because Adam used these phrases in real situations, they became part of his natural English. You should also stop trying to translate every word. Sometimes you hear an English phrase that does not make sense when you translate it. Word by word. For example, people may say, take it easy. You can understand this as a complete idea. It means relax or do not worry too much. You do not need to translate every part of the phrase. Learn the meaning of the whole expression. This will help your English sound more natural. Another useful exercise is to describe your actions in English. You can do this silently in your mind or out loud when you are alone. For example, while cooking, you can say, first, I am cutting the vegetables. Now, I am putting them in the pan. I am waiting for the food to cook. While cleaning, you can say, I am washing the dishes. Now, I am cleaning the table. The room looks better. This is simple speaking practice, but it helps your brain use English more quickly. Adam also started talking to himself when he was alone. He spoke about his plans. He said, "Today I have a lot to do. First, I need to finish my work. Then I want to practice English. After that, I will call my friend." At first, he stopped many times, but he continued. He did not care about perfect grammar, right? He focused on expressing his ideas. That is what you should do too. When you speak to yourself, do not stop every time you make a small mistake. Keep going. Try to express your idea with the words you know. If you forget a word, use another word. For example, maybe you forget the word umbrella. You can say, the thing we use when it rains. This is not the exact word, but you are still communicating. This is a very important speaking skill. Fluent speakers do not always know every word, but they know how to continue. Adam learned this lesson one day. When he forgot a word during a conversation, he wanted to talk about a pharmacy, but he forgot the word. Before, he would have become silent, but this time he said, I need to go to a place where I can buy medicine. The other person understood him and helped him. Adam felt proud because he did not stop speaking. When you are talking in English, do not think, I must know every word. Think, I will use the words I know. This small change can make you feel much more confident. Another important thing is to listen to English sentences again and again. Listening helps your brain learn natural English patterns. When you hear the same type of sentence many times, your brain starts to remember it. For example, you may hear, "What are you doing?" many times. After listening and repeating, you do not need to build the sentence from the beginning. The phrase becomes familiar. Then, when you need to ask someone, your mouth can say it more naturally. Adam started listening to short conversations every day. He did not try to understand everything. He listened to simple conversations and repeated them. He listened to the same sentences many times. Slowly, something changed. English began to feel less like a school subject. It started to feel like a real language. This is your goal too. English should become part of your daily life. Think in it. Listen to it. Speak it. Use it. Do not worry if you still translate sometimes. This is normal. You do not have to stop translating completely in one day. Thinking in English is a skill, and every skill needs practice. Today, you may think one sentence in English. Tomorrow, you may think 5 sentences. After some time, you may think about your whole morning in English. One day, you may answer a simple question without translating first. That is progress. So start today with small thoughts. When you wake up, think in English. When you walk, think in English. When you eat, think in English. Describe the world around you with simple words. Learn useful phrases. Repeat them. Use them in real life. And remember, you do not need perfect English in your mind before you can speak English with your mouth. Use what you know. Start small. Keep going. The more you think in English, the faster English will come to you. And slowly, step by step, speaking will begin to feel easier. Chapter 3. Train your mouth to speak English naturally. We are going to talk about training your mouth. Many English learners understand more English than they can speak. They can listen to a video and understand it. They can read a simple story and know the meaning. They know many words. But when they try to speak, the words come out slowly. Sometimes the words do not come out clearly. Sometimes they know the sentence in their mind, but their mouth cannot say it easily. This is normal. Understanding English and speaking English are different skills. Your brain needs to learn English, but your mouth also needs practice. If you only read and listen, you may understand more and more English. But if you want to speak fluently, you need to move your mouth and practice saying the words. Let me tell you about Adam again. Adam had started thinking in English more often. He could make simple thoughts in his mind. He knew useful phrases. But one day, he tried to have a longer conversation in English, and he noticed a new problem. At Yins, Spiz, he knew what he wanted to say, but he could not say it smoothly. He wanted to say, I have been learning English for a long time, but I still feel nervous when I speak. But when he tried to say the sentence, he stopped many times. He said, I have been learning English for a long time. He became frustrated. He asked himself, why is this so difficult? I know the words. The answer was simple. His brain knew the words, but his mouth needed more practice, using them together. So Adam started doing a very simple exercise every day. He listened to a short English sentence and repeated it. At first, he listened carefully. Then he said the sentence slowly. Then he said it again. And again. He did not repeat the sentence only 2 or 3 times. Sometimes, he repeated it 10 times. Sometimes, he repeated it 20 times. This exercise helped him in many ways. His mouth became more comfortable with English sounds. His pronunciation started to improve. His sentences started to come out more easily. You can do this too. Choose a simple sentence. For example, say, how are you doing today? Say it slowly. How are you doing today? Now, say it again. How are you doing today? Do not rush. Listen to the words. Notice how your mouth moves. Practice the sentence until it starts to feel easier. Then try another sentence. What did you do today? I'm going to practice English. I really enjoy learning new things. I'm not sure, but I will try. These are useful sentences for daily life. The more you repeat English, the more natural it can become. Another powerful exercise is called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to English and repeating it immediately after the speaker. You can use a short video, an English lesson, or a simple audio recording. First, listen to one short sentence. Then repeat it. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. Do not worry if you cannot do it perfectly. The goal is to practice. Adam started shadowing for 10 minutes every day. In the beginning, he could not follow the speaker very well. Sometimes the speaker was too fast. Adam stopped and played the audio again. He listened. He repeated. He listened again. After a few weeks, he noticed something interesting. His English sounded smoother. He did not have to think about every sound as much as before. This happened because his mouth was getting regular practice. Think about a person who wants to become good at playing the guitar. They cannot become a great guitar player only by reading books about music. They need to hold the guitar. They need to move their hands. They need to practice every day. Speaking English is similar. You cannot become a strong speaker only by studying English silently. You need to speak. Your mouth needs exercise. Your voice needs practice. Another good way to train your mouth is to read aloud every day. Find a simple English story or a short paragraph. Read it with your voice. Do not read inside your mind only. Open your mouth and say the words. At first, read slowly. Make sure you can say each word. Then read the same paragraph again. Try to read it more smoothly. Adam chose one short paragraph every day. On the first day, he read it slowly. On the second day, he read the same paragraph again. On the third day, it felt easier. He noticed that repeating the same text was better than always reading something completely new. Why? Because repetition gave his mouth time to become comfortable with the sentences. This is an important lesson. You do not always need more and more new English. Sometimes, you need to practice the English you already know. Many learners know hundreds of words but cannot use them quickly. It is better to know fewer words and use them confidently than to know many words and never use them. So choose simple English and practice it deeply. Another useful habit is to practice common sentence patterns. For example, practice sentences that begin with I like. I like reading. I like music. I like watching movies. I like learning English. Now practice I want to. I want to speak better. I want to learn new words. I want to practice every day. I want to feel more confident. These patterns help you speak more quickly because you do not have to create every sentence from nothing. You learn a useful pattern, and then you change one part. Adam practiced sentence patterns every day. Soon, he could make many sentences with one simple structure. He learned, I used to. Then he said, I used to be afraid of speaking English. I used to translate every sentence. I used to practice only grammar. One pattern helped him make many different sentences. You can do the same. When you hear a useful sentence, do not only remember that one sentence. Look at the pattern. For example, if you learn, I'm interested in learning English, you can change it. I'm interested in music. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in meeting new people. This makes speaking easier and faster. Another important thing is pronunciation. Many learners worry too much about having a perfect accent. But you do not need a perfect accent to speak good English. People all over the world speak English with different accents. The important thing is to speak clearly. Do not try to sound exactly like someone else. Focus on clear words. Listen carefully. Repeat useful sentences. And speak with confidence. Adam used to feel embarrassed about his accent. He thought people would laugh at him. Then one day, he met a person who spoke English with a different accent. The person was not perfect, but Adam understood every word. Adam learned something important. Clear communication is more important than sounding exactly like a native speaker. You do not need to change who you are. Your goal is to communicate. Your accent is part of your journey. So do not hide your voice. Use it. Another useful practice is to speak slowly when you are learning. Some learners think fluency means speaking very fast. This is not true. If you speak too fast, you may make more mistakes. You may become confused. You may lose confidence. Speaking fluently means speaking naturally and clearly. It is okay to pause. It is okay to take a breath. It is okay to think for a moment. You can use simple phrases when you need time. Say, "Let me think," or say, "That's a good question," or say, "I'm not sure." These phrases help you continue the conversation without becoming silent. Adam started using these phrases. Or phrases. When someone asked him a question, he no longer felt that he had to answer immediately. He could say, "Let me think for a moment." Then he could prepare his answer. This made him feel more relaxed. The more relaxed he became, the better he spoke. You should also practice speaking about the same topic many times. For example, today you can talk about your family for 2 minutes. Tomorrow, talk about your family again. But try to use different. On the first day, you may say, "I have a small family." On the second day, you may say, "There are 5 people in my family." On the third day, you may describe each person. This type of practice helps you build confidence with familiar topics. You do not need a new topic every day. Go deeper with simple topics. Talk about your home. Talk about your work. Talk about your childhood. Talk about your favorite food. Talk about your plans. The more you talk about your life, the more natural your English can become. Adam also started recording his voice while speaking. He talked for 2 minutes about one topic. At first, he listened to the recording and noticed many pauses. But he did not feel discouraged. Instead, he practiced again. 1 week later, he recorded another message, then another. Slowly, the pauses became shorter. His sentences became easier. His voice became stronger. This is what regular practice can do. You may not notice a big change every day, but after 1 month, you can often see a difference. So be patient. Train your mouth every day. Repeat useful sentences. Read aloud. Practice shadowing. Speak about simple topics. Use sentence patterns. Record your voice. And do not wait until you feel perfect. Remember, your mouth becomes better at speaking by speaking. Your voice becomes stronger by using it. Every sentence you say is practice. Every mistake is a lesson. Every day you speak, you move one step closer to fluency and confidence. So start training your mouth today. Speak slowly. Speak clearly. Repeat what you learn. Do not hide your voice. Your English does not have to be perfect to be powerful. You only need to keep speaking, and the more you speak, the easier it will become. Chapter 4. Learn to keep the conversation going. Many English learners can start a conversation, but they do not know how to continue it. For example, someone asks, "How are you?" You say, "I'm fine." Then there is silence. The other person says, "That's good." Then you say, "Thank you." Again, there is silence. You may feel nervous. You may not know what to say next. You may think, "My English is not good enough. I do not know how to continue." But the truth is that you do not need difficult English to keep a conversation going. You only need to learn a few simple ways to show interest and continue talking. Let me tell you about Adam again. Adam had become better at speaking. He could introduce himself. He could talk about his day. He could make simple sentences. One day, he met an English-speaking visitor at a cafe. The visitor said, "Hello. Is this seat free?" Adam said, "Yes." The visitor sat down and said, "Thank you. How are you today?" Adam answered, "I'm fine." The visitor smiled and said, "That's nice." Then there was silence. Adam wanted to say something, but he did not know what. He looked at the table. He looked at the window. He felt nervous. After a few seconds, the visitor asked another question. "Do you live here?" Adam said, "Yes." Again, there was silence. Adam knew the words. He understood the questions. But his answers were too short. He was answering questions, but he was not continuing the conversation. After the visitor left, Adam thought about what happened. He decided to learn a simple rule. Do not only answer, add something more. This small rule can change your conversations. For example, someone asks, "Do you live here?" You can say, "Yes, I live here. I have lived here for many years." Now the other person has more information. They may ask, "Do you like living here?" Then you can say, "Yes, I do. It is a quiet place, and the people are friendly." The conversation becomes easier because you are giving the other person something to talk about. So remember this simple idea. Answer, then add. Let's look at another example. Someone asks, "What do you do?" You can say, "I work in a shop." I work in a shop. That is a good answer. But you can continue by saying, "I work in a shop. I have worked there for 2 years. I enjoy meeting different people." Now, your answer gives more information. Another person may ask, "What kind of shop do you work in?" And the conversation continues. You do not need to say everything at once. Just add 1 or 2 simple sentences. Adam started practicing this rule every day. When someone asked him, "How was your day?" he stopped saying only, "It was good." Instead, he said, "It was good. I was busy at work, but I finished everything." When someone asked, "Do you like movies?" he said, "Yes, I do. I like action movies and funny movies." These simple changes helped him speak longer. Another very important skill is asking questions. A conversation is like a game between 2 people. You do not want only one person to do all the talking. You can answer and then ask a question back. Someone says, "I like traveling." You can say, "That's interesting. Where do you like to travel?" They answer you. Then you can ask another question. "What is your favorite place?" This is how conversations grow. You do not need to ask difficult questions. Simple questions are enough. You can ask, "What do you do? Where are you from? What do you like to do? What kind of music do you like? How was your day? What are you doing this weekend? What do you think about this place?" These questions are simple, but they can help you learn more about the other person. Adam learned another important lesson. People usually enjoy talking when they feel that someone is listening to them. So when someone is speaking, listen carefully. Do not spend the whole time thinking about your next sentence. Listen to what they are saying, then respond to their words. For example, someone says, "I went to the beach last weekend." Do not only say, "Okay." You can say, "That sounds nice. Was the weather good?" Now you are showing that you listen. If the person says, "The weather was beautiful, but the water was very cold," you can say, "Really? Do you like swimming in cold water?" You do not need to prepare a conversation before it happens. Listen to the other person and use their words to find your next question. This is one of the easiest ways to continue speaking. Adam started doing this. One day, his friend said, "I started learning to cook." Adam could have said, "That's good," but he remembered his new practice. So he said, "That's interesting. What are you learning to cook?" His friend answered, "I'm learning to make Italian food." Adam said, "Oh, I like Italian food. What is your favorite dish?" Soon they were talking for 20 minutes. Adam was surprised. He thought, "I did not use difficult English. I only asked questions and listened." That is the power of a good conversation. Another useful skill is learning short phrases that give you time to think. Sometimes, someone asks you a question, and you do not know the answer immediately. You do not have to stay silent. You can say, "That's a good question." You can say, "Let me think for a moment." You can say, "I'm not sure, but..." You can say, "Well, I think." You can say, "In my opinion." These phrases give you a little more time. For example, someone asks, "What is your biggest dream?" You may need a moment to think. You can say, "That's a good question. Let me think for a moment. I think my biggest dream is to travel to different countries." This sounds much more natural than becoming completely silent. Adam used to think that pauses were a bad thing. He wanted to answer every question immediately, but he learned that good speakers also pause. They think. They take a breath. Then they continue. You do not need to speak all the time without stopping. A short pause is normal. Another helpful thing is learning how to react to what people say. When someone tells you something, you can show interest with simple expressions. You can say, "Really? That's interesting. That sounds great. Oh, I see. I understand. That's nice. No way. I agree." These small expressions can make your conversation feel more natural. For example, someone says, "I'm going to start a new job next week." You can say, "Really? That's exciting. What kind of job is it?" Or someone says, "I was very tired yesterday." You can say, "Oh, really? What happened?" Simple reactions show the other person that you are present in the conversation. Adam practiced these phrases while watching English videos. When a person said something, he paused the video and thought about how he could react. If someone said, "I went to Paris last year," Adam said, "Really? Did you enjoy it?" If someone said, "I'm learning how to play the guitar," Adam said, "That sounds great." Is it difficult? This was a fun way to practice conversations alone. You can do the same. Another important habit is not to be afraid of silence. Sometimes you may have a short, quiet moment during a conversation. That is okay. You do not have to panic. You do not have to say the first word that comes into your mind. You can smile. You can think. Then you can, for example, if there is a quiet moment, you can say, "So, what do you usually do on weekends?" Or you can say, "By the way, what kind of music do you like?" These simple questions can start a new part of the conversation. Adam learned to use the words, "by the way," when he wanted to change the topic. He might be talking about work and then say, "By the way, do you like traveling?" The conversation could move to a new topic. You can also use phrases like, "That reminds me." For example, someone says, "I love going to the beach." You can say, "That reminds me. I went to the beach with my family last summer." Now you can share your own experience. This is another important part of conversation. Do not only ask questions. Share something about yourself, too. If someone says, "I like football," you can say, "Me too. I watch football with my friends." If someone says, "I enjoy cooking," you can say, "I like cooking too, but I am still learning." When you find something you have in common, the conversation can become easier. Adam noticed that he did not need to talk about difficult subjects. People could have interesting conversations about food, weather, hobbies, work, family, movies, books, travel, and daily life. Simple topics can create great conversations. So do not think, "I need a very interesting idea." Think, "I need to be interested in the other person." Ask questions. Listen carefully. Share something about yourself. Add one more sentence to your answers. These small habits can make a big difference. Another useful practice is to imagine conversations before you speak. For example, imagine that you meet a new person. You can practice saying, "Hello, my name is Adam. What's your name?" Then imagine they answer. You can ask, "Nice to meet you. Where are you from?" Then imagine the next answer. Practice these conversations in your mind. You can also practice them aloud. Pretend that you are talking to a friend. Ask a question. Then answer your own question. This may feel strange, but it is a good way to prepare your English. Adam practiced simple conversations while walking. He imagined meeting a new person. He said, "Hi, how are you?" Then he imagined the person saying, "I'm good, thanks." Then he said, "That's good to hear. What are you doing today?" He continued the conversation by himself. After doing this many times, he felt more ready for real conversations. The next time Adam spoke with the visitor at the cafe, he did something different. The visitor asked, "How are you?" Adam said, "I'm doing well, thanks." I'm enjoying my coffee. How are you? The visitor smiled and answered. Adam asked another question. The visitor told him about his trip. Adam listened. Then he said, "That sounds great. How long are you staying here?" The conversation continued. This time, Adam was not silent. He still made mistakes. He still felt a little nervous. But he was speaking, and he was enjoying the conversation. After the visitor left, Adam felt proud. He understood something important. A good conversation is not about speaking perfect English. It is about connection. You listen to someone. They listen to you. You share ideas. You ask questions. You react. You continue. And little by little, you become more comfortable. So remember these simple rules. Do not only answer. Add something more. Ask questions. Listen carefully. React to what people say. Use simple phrases to give yourself time. Do not fear short pauses. Share your own experiences. And most importantly, be interested. You do not need to speak perfect English to have a good conversation. You only need to start talking and stay in the conversation. Every conversation is practice. Every question teaches you something. Your English becomes stronger. So the next time you speak English, do not think, "What if I make a mistake?" Think, "I will listen, answer, and ask another question." This simple habit can help you talk longer. And the more conversations you have, the more fluent and confident you will become. Chapter 5. Practice English. Every day and build real confidence. You do not need to study English for many hours every day. You do not need to learn everything in 1 week. You do not need to wait until you have a lot of free time. You only need to do something with English every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes can help you. Let me tell you about Adam again. Adam had learned many useful things. He was speaking more. He was thinking in English. He was training his mouth. He was learning how to have better conversations. But sometimes, he still had a problem. He practiced English for 1 day, but then he stopped for several days. 1 week, he felt very excited and studied for 3 hours. Then he became tired and did nothing for the next 5 days. When he started again, he felt like he had forgotten many things. One day, he said to himself, "I need to study more." But that was not exactly the answer. Adam did not need to study more on 1 day and then stop. He needed to practice regularly, so he made a new plan. He decided to practice English every day. His practice was simple. In the morning, he listened to English for 5 minutes. During the day, he tried to think in English. In the evening, he spoke English for 10 minutes. That was all. At first, Adam thought this was too little. He thought, "Can 15 minutes really help me?" But after a few weeks, he saw a change. Because he practiced every day, English stayed in his mind. He did not forget it as easily. His mouth became more comfortable. Useful phrases started coming to him faster. He became more confident. This is the power of a little practice every day can be better than a lot of practice once in a while. Think about learning English like growing a plant. If you give a plant a little water every day, it can grow. But if you give it a lot of water one day, and then forget it for 2 weeks, it may not grow well. Your English is similar. Give it a little practice every day. Listen, speak, read, think, repeat. Little by little, your English will grow. You can create a simple daily routine. For example, in the morning, listen to a short English lesson while you are eating breakfast. Do not worry if you do not understand every word. Just listen. Try to understand the main idea. Listen to the sounds. Notice how people speak. Then, during your day, think of simple things in English. When you are walking, think, I am going to the market. When you are working, think, I need to finish this. When you are eating, think, this food tastes good. You do not need to sit with a book to practice English. You can practice English during your normal day. Then, in the evening, take a few minutes to speak. Stand in front of a mirror. Talk about your day. You can say, today I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. Then I went to work. It was a busy day. Now I am tired, but I am happy. Simple English is enough. Adam started doing this every night. Some days he spoke for only 5 minutes. Other days he spoke for 20 minutes. The important thing was that he did something. He stopped waiting for the perfect day. This is important for you too. Some learners say, I will practice when I have more time. But there may never be a perfect time. Life is busy. There is always something to do. So instead of waiting for one free hour, find 5 minutes. 5 minutes are enough to begin. You can learn one useful phrase. You can listen to one short conversation. You can read one paragraph. You can speak about your day. Small practice is still practice. Another important thing is to make English a habit. A habit is something you do again and again until it becomes a normal part of your life. For example, you brush your teeth without thinking too much about it. It is part of your routine. Try to make English part of your routine too. Choose a time for practice. Maybe after breakfast, maybe during lunch, maybe before going to sleep. Choose a simple time and connect English practice to something you already do. For example, after you drink your morning tea, practice English for 5 minutes. After dinner, listen to English for 10 minutes. Before you sleep, learn 3 useful sentences. This can make it easier to remember. Adam decided to practice English after dinner every day. After he finished eating, he spent 10 minutes speaking. He did not need to ask himself, should I practice today? The time had become part of his routine. After a few weeks, it felt strange when he did not practice. That is how habits grow. Another useful idea is to keep a simple English journal. You do not need to write a long page. Write 3 or 4 sentences. For example, write, today was a good day. I practiced English for 10 minutes. I learned 2 new phrases. Tomorrow, I want to practice speaking more. Writing helps you remember your thoughts. It also gives you ideas for speaking. The next day, you can read your journal aloud. You can say the sentences again. Adam kept a small notebook. Adam kept a small notebook. At the beginning of every week, he wrote a small goal. One week, his goal was to speak English for 10 minutes every day. Another week, his goal was to learn 5 useful phrases. Another week, His goal was to have one short English conversation. The goals were small, but they helped him stay focused. You should do the same. Do not make a goal that is too difficult. Do not say, "I will become fluent in 1 month." Instead, say, "I will practice speaking for 10 minutes every day." Small goals are easier to follow. When you reach them, you feel proud. Then you can make a new goal. This is how confidence grows. Confidence does not come from saying, "One day, I will be good." Confidence comes from seeing yourself. Do the work. When you practice today, you can say, "I kept my promise to myself." When you practice tomorrow, you can say it again. Every day you continue, you build trust in yourself. Adam also learned to stop judging every practice session. Sometimes he spoke very well. Sometimes he made many mistakes. Before, a bad practice day made him want to stop. But now, he understood that not every day would feel the same. Some days, your English will feel easy. Some days, you may forget simple words. Some days, you may feel tired. That is normal. Do not let one difficult day stop your progress. If you practice for only 2 minutes, that is okay. If you make mistakes, that is okay. The important thing is to come back tomorrow. Another helpful habit is to review what you already know. Many learners are always looking for new words. They learn 10 new words today, then 10 more tomorrow. But after 1 week, they forget many of them. Learning new words is good, but reviewing is also important. Choose a few useful words and phrases. Repeat them during the week. Use them in your own sentences. For example, if you learn the phrase "I'm looking forward to it," do not only write it down. Use it. Say, "I'm looking forward to the weekend." Say, "I'm looking forward to meeting my friend." Say the phrase again and again until it becomes familiar. Adam did this with his new phrases. He did not try to learn 50 phrases every week. He learned a few. Then he used them many times. This helped him remember them. He also noticed that useful phrases appeared in his conversations more quickly. Another important part of daily practice is listening. If you want to speak English, you need to hear English. Listen to simple English stories. Listen to conversations. Listen to people talking about daily life. At first, you may not understand everything. That is okay. Do not stop the audio every second to translate every word. Try to listen for the main idea, then listen again. Maybe the second time, you will understand more. Adam listened to the same short conversation several times. He understood about 50%. The second time, he understood more. The third time, he noticed new words. Then he repeated the conversation aloud. This simple exercise helped his listening and speaking at the same time. You can also choose one English speaker you enjoy listening to. Listen to their voice regularly. Pay attention to how they connect words. Notice the rhythm of their sentences. Then repeat some of their sentences. This can help your English become more natural. But remember, you do not need to copy another person exactly. Your goal is to learn from English, not to lose your own voice. Speak in a way that feels comfortable for you. Another powerful habit is to celebrate your small progress. Many people only think about the big goal. They say, I am not fluent yet. So they feel disappointed. But look at how far you have come. Maybe last month, you could not introduce yourself. Now you can speak about yourself for 1 minute. That is progress. Maybe before, you were afraid to speak to anyone. Now you can say hello, and ask a question. That is progress too. Adam started writing down his small successes. He wrote, "Today I spoke English for 10 minutes." Then he wrote, "Today I understood a conversation." Then, "Today I spoke to someone without translating." These small successes made him feel stronger. You should also notice your progress. Do not wait until you become completely fluent before you feel proud. Be proud of every step. Another important thing is to keep English enjoyable. If you only study grammar for many hours, you may become tired. Find things you enjoy. If you like stories, listen to English stories. If you like movies, watch English movies. If you enjoy sports, listen to English content about sports. If you like music, listen to simple English songs and learn the meaning of useful phrases. When you enjoy English, you will spend more time with it. And when you spend more time with English, you improve. Adam enjoyed stories, so he listened to short English stories every evening. He also liked talking about his daily life, so he used these things for practice. He did not try to copy someone else's routine. Exactly. He found a routine that worked for him. You should do the same. Your English routine does not have to look like another person's routine. Maybe you like practicing in the morning. Maybe you prefer the evening. Maybe you enjoy speaking with friends. Maybe you prefer practicing alone first. Find what works for you. The most important thing is to stay consistent. You will not become fluent in one perfect day. You become fluent through many ordinary days. One day, you listen. The next day, you speak. Then you make mistakes. Then you learn. Then you try again. Day by day, English becomes a stronger part of your life. Adam practiced for months. Some days were exciting. Some days were boring. Some days, he felt very confident. Other days, he felt nervous. But he kept practicing. Then one day, he noticed something. He was having a conversation in English, and he was not thinking about every sentence. The words were coming more naturally. He was still not perfect, but he was more comfortable. He was more confident. He smiled because he understood that fluency had not come from one big moment. It came from small moments repeated again and again. So remember, you do not need to do everything today. You do not need to know every word. You do not need to practice for 5 hours. Start small. Practice every day. Listen to English. Think in English. Speak English. Review useful phrases. Read aloud. Keep a small journal. Celebrate your progress. And when you have a difficult day, do not give up. Tomorrow is another chance to practice. Your confidence will grow every time you keep going. Your fluency will grow every time you use English. The journey may be slow sometimes, but slow progress is still progress. So make English part of your life. Give yourself a few minutes today. Then come back tomorrow. And the next day, little by little, Your fear will become smaller. Your sentences will become easier. Your voice will become stronger. And one day, you will realize that you are doing something you once thought was impossible. You are speaking English, and you are speaking with confidence. Chapter 6. Believe in yourself and keep moving forward. You need to believe in yourself. Many people have the ability to learn English, but they do not believe that they can do it. They say, English is too difficult for me. They say, I am too old to learn. They say, my memory is not good. They say, I have tried before and I failed. But let me tell you something important. Your past does not have to decide your future. Maybe you made many mistakes before. Maybe you stopped learning many times. Maybe you studied English for years but still cannot speak confidently. That does not mean you cannot improve. You can always start again. Let us talk about Adam one more time. Adam remembered his first days of learning English. He remembered how afraid he was. He remembered standing silently when someone asked him a simple question. He remembered translating every word in his mind. He remembered feeling embarrassed about his mistakes. At that time, Adam thought fluent English was impossible for him. But he kept going. He started with one sentence, then another sentence. He spoke to himself. He thought in English. He listened to English. He repeated useful phrases. He trained his mouth. He learned how to ask questions. He practiced every day. And slowly, his English changed. One day, Adam was sitting in a cafe when he heard someone speaking English. Before, he would have listened quietly. He would have wanted to join the conversation, but fear would have stopped him. This time, something was different. He took a breath. He smiled. And he started speaking. At first, he said something simple. Then the other person answered. Adam asked a question. The conversation continued. They talked about travel. They talked about work. They talked about learning languages. Adam spoke for several minutes. Then suddenly, he realized something. He was not thinking about every grammar rule. He was not translating every sentence. He was not worrying about every mistake. He was simply talking. The conversation was not perfect. He still made mistakes. He still forgot a few words. But he continued. When the conversation ended, Adam felt proud. Not because his English was perfect, but because he had changed. The person who was once afraid to say one sentence could now have a real conversation. And this is how confidence grows. It does not come to you in one day. It grows every time you do something that once made you afraid. The first time you speak, you may feel nervous. The second time, you may still feel nervous. But each time you try, the fear becomes a little smaller, and your confidence becomes a little stronger. Where you should remember that you do not need to wait until you feel confident before you speak. Many people think confidence comes first. They say, when I feel confident, I will speak English. But this is not always true. The truth is often the opposite. You speak first, then you become more confident. You make a mistake, you learn. You try again, and then your confidence grows. So do not wait for fear to disappear completely. Speak even when you are nervous. Start with simple words. Say, hello. Say, how are you? Say, nice to meet you. Ask a simple question. Every small step matters. Another important thing is to stop comparing your English with other people's English. You may see someone speaking English very well. You may watch a person online who sounds very confident. You may know a friend who speaks more fluently than you. Do not let this make you feel bad. Instead, let it inspire you. Remember that everyone has a different journey. Some people started earlier. Some people have more chances to practice. Some people use English every day. Your journey is your own. You do not need to be better than another person today. You only need to be better than you were yesterday. Think about your own progress. Maybe 1 month ago, you could not think in English. Now, you can think about simple things in English. Maybe before you were afraid to speak. Now, you can speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Maybe before you could not understand English conversations. Now, you understand more. These are important changes. Do not ignore them. Sometimes we focus so much on what we cannot do that we forget to see what we can do. Adam started keeping a list of his progress. He wrote down small things. Today, I spoke English for 10 minutes. Today, I learned a new phrase. Today, I understood a video. Today, I asked someone a question in English. When he had a difficult day, he read his old notes. They reminded him how far he had come. You can do this too. Keep a small notebook. Write down your progress. It does not have to be something big. Maybe today you said 1 new sentence. Write it down. Maybe today you understood a new word. Write it down. Maybe today you spoke even though you felt afraid. That is a big success. Write it down. Hone. Over time, you will have many small successes. And together, those small successes become something big. Another important lesson is to be patient. Fluency takes time. Confidence takes time. You cannot learn everything in 1 week. You cannot become perfect in 1 month. But you can improve every day. Do not think about becoming perfect. Think about becoming better. This is a much easier goal. Today, learn 1 useful phrase. Tomorrow, use that phrase. The next day, learn another one. Speak a little. Listen a little. Read a little. Repeat a little. Then continue. One day, you may not see a big difference. But after many days, you will see how much you have changed. Think about walking. If you walk 1 step, you may not go very far. But if you keep walking every day, you can travel a great distance. English is the same. Every sentence is a step. Every new word is a step. Every conversation is a step. Every mistake is also a step. Keep walking. Do not stop because the journey feels long. You do not have to see the finish line every day. You only have to take the next step. Another important thing is to enjoy speaking English. Do not make English feel like a punishment. Do not tell yourself, I have to study English. Try saying, I have a chance to practice English. Find joy in the language. Watch stories you enjoy. Listen to people you like. Read about things that interest you. Talk about your hobbies. Learn phrases you can really use. The more English connects to your real life, the easier it becomes to continue. Adam stopped trying to learn everything. Instead, he focused on English that mattered to him. He learned how to talk about his work. He learned how to talk about his family. He learned how to talk about his interests and dreams. He practiced English that he could use in real conversations. This made learning more useful, and because it was useful, he wanted to continue. You can also turn difficult moments into lessons. Imagine you are having a conversation and you forget a word. Do not feel embarrassed. After the conversation, find the word. Learn it. Make a sentence with it. The next time you may remember it. Imagine you pronounce a word incorrectly. Listen to the correct pronunciation. Repeat it. Then try again. Every problem can teach you something. Instead of asking, "Why am I so bad at English?" Ask, "What can I learn from this?" Change your mindset. This a mistake is not the end of your progress. It is part of your progress. Remember, even fluent speakers sometimes forget words. Sometimes they say the wrong thing. Sometimes they need a moment to think. You do not have to be perfect. You only have to communicate. If people understand you, that is a success. If you can share your idea, that is a success. If you can ask for help when you do not understand, that is also a success. No. For example, you can say, "Could you say that again, please?" Or, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand." Or, "Can you speak a little more slowly?" These are useful sentences. They can help you continue a conversation even when you do not understand everything. Confidence does not mean knowing everything. Confidence means knowing that you can continue even when things are difficult. Adam learned this during a long conversation with an English-speaking friend. Sometimes, he did not understand. Instead of pretending, he asked questions. He said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Could you explain that?" His friend helped him. Adam learned new things, and he understood that asking for help was not a weakness. It was part of learning. You should never be ashamed to ask. Curiosity is powerful. The more questions you ask, the more you learn. Another thing that can help you is imagining your future self. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking English with confidence. Imagine meeting a new person. Imagine saying hello without fear. Imagine understanding the other person. Imagine answering naturally. Imagine laughing and enjoying the conversation. This future is possible, but it will not happen only because you imagine it. You must take action. You must practice. You must continue. Every day, ask yourself, what small thing can I do today to improve my English? Maybe you can listen for 5 minutes. Maybe you can learn one useful phrase. Maybe you can speak to yourself. Maybe you can have a short conversation. Do something. Action is more powerful than waiting. You may feel afraid. Do it anyway. You may make mistakes. Speak anyway. You may feel tired. Practice for a few minutes. You may feel that your progress is slow. Continue anyway. The people who become fluent are not always the people who learn the fastest. Often, they are the people who keep going. Adam understood this. He stopped asking, "When will I become fluent?" Instead, he started asking, "What can I practice today?" This changed everything. He stopped worrying so much about the future. He focused on today. Today, he could speak. Today he could listen. Today he could learn. That was enough. And one day, all those small days became a strong habit. So now, let us remember everything we have learned. Do not let fear stop you. Start speaking with the English you already know. Think in English with simple words and sentences. Do not translate every thought. Train your mouth through repetition and speaking practice. Read aloud. Use shadowing. Practice useful sentence patterns. Learn how to keep conversations going. Do not only answer questions. Add more information. Ask questions. Listen carefully. React naturally. And most importantly, practice every day. Do not wait for a perfect time. Use small moments. 5 minutes can help. 10 minutes can help. A little practice every day can change your English. And finally, believe in yourself. Believe that you can learn. Believe that mistakes are part of the journey. Believe that slow progress is still progress. Believe that your voice deserves to be heard. You may not be where you want to be today. But you are not where you started. Keep moving. Keep learning. Keep speaking. Keep believing. One day, you will remember the person you used to be. The person who was afraid to speak. The person who translated every sentence. The person who worried about mistakes. And you will smile, because you will know that you did not give up. You kept practicing. You kept trying. And you became stronger. Your English may not be perfect, but your English will be yours. Your voice will be yours, and you will have the confidence to use it. Now, I want to ask you something. Are you ready to stop waiting and start speaking? Speaking? Are you ready to stop saying, "My English is not good enough"? Are you ready to practice, make mistakes, and grow? Then start today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Speak one sentence. Then speak another. Listen to English. Think in English. Practice for a few minutes and keep going. You have the power to improve. You have the ability to learn. You have everything you need to begin. And the best time to begin is now. If this lesson helped you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more simple and useful English lessons for learners around the world. And now, I have a special challenge for you. Go to the comments and write this sentence, "I will speak English with confidence." Write it even if you still feel afraid. Write it as a promise to yourself. Then, starting today, speak English for just 10 minutes every day. Come back after 7 days and tell us about your experience in the comments. Did you feel more confident? Did speaking become easier? What was your biggest challenge? Remember to like, subscribe, and share this lesson with someone who is also learning English. Let's grow together, speak together, and become more confident every single day. Thank you so much for being part of this English learning journey. Keep practicing, keep believing, keep speaking, and never give up. See you in the next lesson. Until then, speak English, smile, and let your voice be heard.